produce the amount of income that you would like to have, then we can look at this in two ways. We can look at helping you do what you do more effectively and more efficiently, because we help your mind, body, and spirit operate at a higher level. We can also show you how to become a conduit to other people's use of those same products, and in so doing, earn royalties. But looking first at that first group of people, those who do what they do because they love it, then let's contemplate this thought. As time goes on, there is always new innovation, there's always new information, always new discoveries. Over the course of the last about decade, there's been a groundswell of evidence that certain nutrients called peptides. And what are peptides? Peptides are branched chains of amino acids that are somewhere between 1 and 50 amino acids. By the time it gets to 50, it is no longer called a peptide, it is then called a protein. So in other words, at least as it relates to the naturally occurring peptides, these are nutrition, they are food. But they are nutrition and food which, seemingly like a heat-seeking missile, find the various needs that our bodies or our minds might have. We'll log into the back office and share with you a few of the other products, but we're going to talk about an ability to make you be your best so that you can do those things that you love at a higher and better level. A couple of peptides which may well help you do so would be 5-amino-1-MQ and SLUPP332. These are the primary nutrients which are found in a product called Nueva Body. And what is its purpose? Its purpose is to reset your mitochondrial function and reset your metabolic functionings so that they can perform appropriately. Now you say, well, why might they need to be reset? Poor nutrition choices over time, crash diets over time, allowing ourselves to get exhausted, sometimes illness. There are a variety of reasons that could occur. There are many of you, I know this, it's not something I think, it's something I know. There are people on this session who once could consume 2,500 calories a day and slowly lose weight. Some of those same people today can consume 1,200 calories a day and gain weight. Something has gone wrong with mitochondrial function and metabolic rate. Nueva Body has a primary purpose of resetting those two functions. Secondary outcomes are to help us maintain lean body composition. And this product, by the way, is not a weight loss product. This is a product which can prepare us to do very, very well in weight loss regimens, but its primary purpose is not to help you restrict caloric intake. Its primary purpose is to help the furnace keep burning hot. So whatever nutrients you do ingest, they are consumed, burned up more readily in our metabolism. Supports metabolic efficiency, promotes healthy mitochondria function, encourages overall strength, endurance, and physical resilience. In my own case, and by the way, a little disclosure here, I'm 68 years old, and I have done more over the course of my life to remain physically fit to a degree than many people have. I've never let myself go. I'm not a gym rat by any stretch of the imagination, but in the decade, about a little more than a decade, in the 13 years, I would say, since I turned 55, the ability to maintain lean body mass has gone down. It's really gone down, and it's challenging. I noticed an almost immediate difference when I began using this particular product, because that was my experience. I personally believe that will be your experience. Now, staying in line with the thought that there are those people, 30% of people out there, and that means 30% of the people with whom we interact, are people who are not looking to change the way they generate income and don't have necessarily a burning desire to improve the income they've got. It's a desire to experience life in a more positive way. There's precious little that would cause each person to experience life in a more positive way from a physical well-being standpoint than to improve oxygen flow and to improve nutrient flow to all of the major and secondary organs in our body, to our extremities, and to our core, to our brain. This is Nueva Nitro. The company launched not all that long ago with only one product. And over the course of my life, I've had consulting roles and various things, and I've always counseled companies, don't launch with only one product. Because what if that one doesn't appeal to everybody? In this case, this is a product that appeals to everybody, really, anyone who's an adult. When one consumes nitro, one is consuming nutrients which, when consumed, cause our bodies to immediately produce nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a pronounced vasodilator, expands blood vessels, arteries, and therefore improves oxygen and nutrient flow to our brain and to all of the organs in our body, to our extremities. And we all know that if we have increased blood flow, that will impact our bodies in a variety of ways. Clean, sustained energy. It boosts focus, blood flow, and stamina, enhances recovery and performance, and it is almost immediate in feeling the difference. Once again, for those who love what you do, we want to help you operate at your highest possible level as a person. Nueva Nitro, I am convinced, will do that for you. Why? Because it has for me and for so many others. Beauty, what is this about? It is an unfortunate fact of life for many people that injuries do occur. Here we see three more of the foundational peptides, GHK-Cu. This is a copper-based peptide, which has shown remarkable effect in wound healing, is used in wound care clinics. People who unfortunately are wheelchair bound or bedridden for long times in life frequently have challenged immune systems, all kinds of medications, and sometimes intractable, seemingly unhealable bed sores exist. GHK-Cu is used in clinics specifically to address that issue. BPC 157, recovery from injury. I am so completely satisfied of BPC 157's ability to help my body reduce inflammation and thereby eliminate pain. How do I know it? Because I ran out. And when I ran out, the very next morning when I woke up, I again had the feelings of pain and stiffness in joints and through every injury I've had in my body. When I was using the product, it was not there. I raced to the mailbox today, hoping the new bottle had arrived, and it had not arrived yet. As I raced to the mailbox to pick it up, I thought to myself, this is why, Randy, this is why you're involved in a company that delivers this product. Because as you are now racing to your mailbox to see if a new bottle is there, that's my experience. I believe that will be your experience. That, therefore, creates the opportunity to become a conduit to the use of this product by other people. And that will then lead to the conversation we'll have about those 50% of people or 45% of people who are looking for a new way to generate income right now. Looking for a new way to generate income. It will also speak loudly to those people who do what they do, not because they love it, because it's what pays the bills. But once again, if you do what you do because you love it, then let's not talk to you about our business, but let's talk instead about the business of making your mind, your body, and your spirit operate, vibrate, and perform at its very highest level. Nueva Beauty will do that. Again, when I went to the mailbox specifically, as I left the house, I said last words walking out were, I hope that the coffee is there. Notice on the second bullet point there, it says enhances NGF and BDNF for brain growth and resilience. Interesting thing is occurring in our countries, in our markets, in our society. We now find ourselves not at the conclusion of, but certainly at the last part of an era of time when the aging of the baby boom has dominated almost everything. Today in America alone, 10,000 people turned 78 years old, 10,000 people turned 68 today, and 10,000 turned 58. There was a time when that group of people, a time not in the very recent past, when that group of people, if asked in a quiet moment of reflection, what are your greatest fears for the future, you would have heard things like the various forms of cancer. Today, because of the literal epidemic of cognitive decline, the single greatest fear among people who are between 55 and 80 years old in the United States and Canada, the single biggest fear is what? It is a declining ability to function mentally. It is decline in cognition. Now, until such time as the recent introduction of a couple of profound nutrients, which are showing ways to address this maybe even more aggressively, enhancing NGF and BDNF. These are naturally occurring compounds. Enhancing these in our body's production would stimulate more proper brain functioning. And those nutrients are contained in this nootropic coffee. In addition to lion's mane mushroom extract, other things been designed to meet our company's one of our three baselines. Our three baselines are: one, to control inflammation, therefore manage the onset of disease and manage pain. Second, it is to keep our body weight at or about the level that God intended when he designed our frame. And third, it is to maintain proper cognition throughout our life. Let the candle burn bright until it burns out. This is a product that I have missed it. I've now been out of this one for 3 days, and I have missed it because as I drink my normal cup of coffee, when I read about Nueva Morning and it said that it would create a smoother alertness as opposed to a jittery alertness, which sometimes happens to me with caffeine. And in addition to that, it would also not lead to a crash. Those things are the absolute truth. And so now, forgetting again, those of you who might have an income objective in mind, talking specifically to those who do what you do because you love it, congratulations. I'm thrilled that people have found such things. Our design from a product standpoint is to simply help you be at your best and therefore do that which you love to do in a better way. And Snow College, and this one kind of blew me away. I viewed that as principally a woman's product. That was dead wrong. What I found out is that this product matters a lot to me. If you happen to be a female and you're in early onset menopause, lots and lots and lots of people describing reduced intensity, duration, and number of hot flashes. I can tell you as a matter of certainty that my own skin is dramatically healthier. I want to say it's even thicker because little tiny bumps and bruises don't cause, or little tiny bumps don't cause scrapes and cuts and bruises. It is amazing. And while this is purely a vanity issue, I'm 68 years old. I've tried hard to retain a degree of youth in my life. And one thing that ages me so quickly is if I've got dark spots all over my hands. I'm telling you, 5 weeks ago, my hands looked like I had chicken pox, except they were dark brown. And, they're just all gone. They're completely gone. And I began noticing the difference almost immediately. Well, anything that we do that makes us feel better about ourselves will make us more effective at the things that we do. And so, talking specifically again, in conclusion, for those of you who have been around life enough to know that you've found your purpose, you found your cause, your calling, you do what you do because you love to do it and because it's helping other people, fantastic. We want to help you do that. And I would so strongly encourage you to become a consumer of not just the products that I've described, but the depth and breadth of this product line, because my personal experience and the experience of many others is that this has the capacity to improve the way that each of us look, change the way we look for the better, change the way we feel, change the way we feel about ourselves in a meaningful, not simply anecdotal way, impact our health for good. I didn't even show you the pictures of a product just introduced called Elevate. Elevate contains 3 nutrients, 2 peptides, and 1 a close cousin. The peptides are dihexa. Dihexa, please do this for yourself. Do a quick Google search or check out your favorite AI's iteration and ask them what is dihexa and why are people excited? And you'll find out this is a peptide that has been shown to have absolutely incredible capacity in not just slowing age-related cognitive decline, but perhaps even beginning to restoring memory. And not all cognitive decline is age-related. Some is disease-related. That's what Alzheimer's is. You'll find such compelling studies. I think that anyone who is anywhere nearing 50 years old or beyond, if they come to understand how dramatically they are mitigating risks of a future without the same cognition they have today, would become a long-term user of our product called Elevate. I could somehow snap my fingers and cause you all to know and understand it like I do, that 30% of people who love what you do would now have even greater joy knowing that you can do it better if, in fact, these nutrients do for you what they've done for so many others. Now, for those who do what you do not because you love it, but because it pays the bills, let me ask you this question. Would it be an attractive or an appealing way to have income generated because other people are living life with more abundance? Other people, when I say abundance, sometimes the natural thought of that is abundance. Does that mean money? Well, no. Abundance. People who are living life in the absence of physical pain. If you were a conduit to that experience, would that not be a joy-filled way to earn income? If you were a conduit to other people's use of a product, which caused them to operate at their very best, and which as a result of operating at their best, they became more effective in their chosen field, which they love, would that not be a great way to generate income? And if along the way you were able to become effective at not just being a conduit to other people's use of the product, but if you were able to gather some knowledge and develop some leadership skills and build a well-structured leadership team who did that in large measure, such that increasing numbers of people way out of your reach, were having those same product benefits, and that the team members were generating royalty income, which might take the pressure off and allow them the freedom and flexibility to invest increasing times, and someday, one day, whether it be our project or another project, do that which you want to do because you love to do it. I believe this. I believe that anyone who is a person of goodwill and intent and has a general awareness of the difficulties that other people face, as opposed to an awareness only of the challenges we might face as individuals, would find joy in becoming a conduit to other people's use of the product, and therefore beginning to generate income in ways that make you more happy more of the time. Make it such that you get up in the morning, and as Warren Buffett says, he tap dances. He's over 90 years old, but he found his project, he found his love. He says he tap dances to work every day. Sort of the way that it is with me. I will admit that every once in a while I get a little bit frustrated. You know, we're in the business that involves people. And so every once in a while there's a moment of frustration. But so long as we occupy planet Earth, that's going to remain true, isn't it? Almost irrespective of what we do for a living. And so now, shifting gears and talking about those who would seek to generate income, then I can describe to you the elements which are required for success in a venture such as this. And the elements are, first of all, a product or a group of products that matter to people. And in a moment, I'll log into my back office and illustrate a few more of those products. A product or a group of products that matter to people. What would cause them to matter to people? Well, I described it. If it'll provoke an emotional response, change the way that a person looks or feels about themselves, or improve their health in a measurable, not simply anecdotal way. If we can become a conduit to other people's use of that kind of a product and thereby generate royalties, that's a pretty fantastic thing. But what is required for it to happen? In addition to the physical product offering, there must be a company which can execute. And so here I popped up a slide that has the pictures of the ownership group of this company. I have known most of these people for a very long time, most for 20 years or more. Some of them I know really, really well, and some of them I know on a little bit more periphery way. But what I can tell you is these are people who are not among those who loved what they did until they were introduced to this new business mechanism of becoming a conduit to other people's use of a product and generating long-term royalties. Most of these people have invested some significant amount of time in gathering the knowledge and developing the skills required to so do. It's important to note that the company Nueva is privately held. These are the owners you're looking at. It is self-funded. There is no debt. There is no private equity firm that can upset our apple cart tomorrow. And what I can tell you is this. My life experience with each of these people, there's only one or two there that I've not had prior experience with, has been universally positive. But now let's not talk about my life experience. Let's talk about the last 4 months experience. That's the length of my participation in this venture. Brian McMullen specifically, because he's my primary conduit to the company. He's my primary relationship here. This is a person who does what he says he will do, the way he says he will do it, or slightly more, always on time. And every step of the way, he will be willing to step out of the spotlight, to put you in it or to put someone else in it. Every step of the way, he'll be willing to tighten his own margins a little bit to increase your profitability a little bit if it becomes evident that is needed. We can't build a wonderful business unless the people that we are engaging ourselves with are wonderful people, and I want you to know with an absolute certainty these people are. Now, I only wanted to share those couple of slides with you. I'm going to actually log into my back office and share with you a couple of other things because they're important. Once again, recognizing that we have different categories of people. I read about 3 categories of people or 3 different categories of experience that people might fall into. And each of us, you, by definition, fall into one of those categories. And so my question is, which one do you fall into? And by the way, those categories sometimes change over time. When we know and understand who you are and what you want, that then grants to us the capacity and the ability to help you craft an individual business plan to help you accomplish those objectives. And so here we'll do a brief perusal of the variety of offerings. I've already talked briefly about the coffee. No need to discuss that further. I've talked about nitro. No need to discuss that further. Here we have Slim Trio. I referenced the fact that we have a group of foundational peptides, and I mentioned most of them, not all. We also have nutrients that are non-peptide based. In the case of Snow Slim, this is Morocell blood orange extract. This is Tremacella extract. these nutrients have the ability to maintain the newly enhanced metabolic and mitochondrial function created by the body reset. In my own case, what these products did was immediately identify for me that my digestion was not great. I wasn't even aware of it until I started using it. That's just the way that it is. And so subtly are the changes as life goes on. When I began using Snow Slim in combination with the other items, my body's processes from the time that I put food into my mouth until it's no longer in my body, all the way along the line, just got better. And that is something that changes a lot about the way that my day goes on. And so I'm a very, very, very strong advocate for Snow Slim as well. I talked about the collagen, the ability, by the way, not just collagen, there's so much more to it, but the ability to change the way that I looked on the outside when my hands no longer had the appearance on the external side of being an aging man. I'm able to look and I can see with my mind's eye, I can imagine, well, if that changed the way that my hands look on the outside, I'm willing to bet that's changing the way that my organs look on the inside. And that's all really, really good news for a person like me. My stated objective is what, folks? My stated objective is that I want the candle to burn bright, and then I want it to burn out. When I look at the slow, agonizing decline of so many people in memory care facilities, so many people in long-term convalescent rehab centers, I think, my gosh, let it be, please God, let it be that my candle burns bright and then it burns out. And these are all products that I think have the capacity to help each of us do this. That Body Kickstart bundle, that sort of presumes that one has embraced the business, because otherwise you would not buy those nutrients in that pack. Those are designed to allow a person in a simple week to understand the way their body was designed to work. I believe that anyone who uses that Kickstart for 1 week, what's contained therein? A 7-day supply of Nueva Body. Once again, what is that? 5-amino-1-MQ and SLU-PP332. And it is a 1 week supply of nitro, causing vasodilation. 1 week later, your body works better. That then validates the idea, in my estimation, that validates the idea of trying others of the products to see how they might impact you as an individual, if you're in that category of people who love what you do. If you're in the category of people who do what you do, not because you love it, but because it pays the bills, I think you, like me, will find your eyes being opened. 1 week in, you will say, well, of course, if it's doing this for me, it will do it for others. Therefore, there is an economic opportunity associated with it. And I think probably there's Nueva Beauty. We talked about that. I think I've at least talked briefly about the breadth of the product line. If I left anything out, it wasn't on purpose. And so now let me come back over here. Let me get out of this screen share for a second. Maybe I already wasn't in a screen share. Oh, well, I saw those pictures. If you guys didn't, they were delightful. I don't claim perfection. I do my best. Sorry about that, folks. Just for a moment, I want all of you to just take this leap of faith and just imagine this. Imagine whatever you know, the absolute very, very best. There's something where your highest and greatest and strongest bank of knowledge resides. Imagine that. As it works out, my highest and greatest and strongest bank of knowledge resides in the area of creating distribution for consumer-based products whose time is right. And I'll recap for you what the elements are that are required for success. It is first a product or service that matters to people. I have described to you many, and there are more coming. Second, it is a company that can execute. And I will say now with complete absolute confidence that anyone who becomes affiliated with this company will be proud of this company. They just do everything right. They just do everything right. I'm unaware of any problems that they even had to address and fix. The company does things very, very well. That's a little bit surprising. Why? Because the company's less than a year old. And to have companies executing at this level, this early in the game, is highly, highly unusual. The third thing that we talk about is the timing of the venture. Well, folks, there's a lot of different ways that we can think about timing. One of the reasons that I wish we could have a conversation right now, because in a conversation, I would learn about you. Your timing is what matters. Everything else that I say about the business doesn't really matter if it's not time for you to make a change. So I can't talk about your timing. We're not having that sort of a conversation. I can talk just a tiny bit about the timing of the venture. And I'm going to do that a little bit differently than you might anticipate. I'm going to talk about that by simply asking my friend Raymond to just chime in for a second, Raymond, and tell folks there are people here who've never heard our message before. just tell folks quickly, what is your experience with the first element required for success? Now, those who are here tonight just learning the message for the first time, when you think about timing, listen to what Raymond says about a product. And then I may call one or two other people who might talk about a different product, but listen to what Raymond says about a product. And then ask yourself this question. Given that we have 10,000 people per day turning 78 years old, who by definition will be at somewhere along the line finding immune system compromised, finding what used to be the taken for granted vibrant health, finding it fading a little bit. Listen to what Raymond has to say about just one of our products. Maybe we'll talk about a couple. And then ask yourself, what do you think about the timing of this company and product introduction? Raymond.
Well, I guess to start off, the first product I tried was Nitro. Being that I needed something to get me away from the chain that was around my neck that limited me to my house. From 1 year ago to having a total lung collapse, 16 days in a coma in ICU, 2.5 more months in ICU trying to learn how to walk and get my strength back to come home with oxygen the rest of my life, and 2 little puppers and a multivitamin. That was my life. Until I started this Nitro the 1st of January, by the 8th, I knew there was a difference. There was something happening. I ordered all the products. By the 16th, I received the products. Then I was confident enough monitoring my oxygen daily. I took my oxygen off. I don't wear my oxygen all day. I say beyond a doubt it's because Nitro is what oxidated more oxygen in my blood and allowed me to have a little more freedom. The other products, I've taken the body, I've taken all the products. Inflammation is gone. No more pain in the joints. Just more clarity, more focus. I can't say enough, Randy.
Thank you, Raymond. Thank you so much. I could also, folks, have Raymond talk about the business. He's having success there as well. But I wanted Raymond to just chime in as a person and talk about this first element. And I'd ask each one of you to contemplate the timing of a venture where they deliver a product that can address that kind of a need. Now I'm going to call upon my friend Ryland. Raymond happened to speak about Nitro. And when he spoke about Nitro, he was speaking about a product that would produce nitrous oxide and improve vasodilation. Well, Ryland, I believe, has used other nitric oxide products and didn't have the same outcome. So you see, the fact that it says something on a label doesn't say that the manufacturing standard and or the method of creation, it doesn't mean it's going to do the same things. Ryland, just chime in and just talk to people briefly about your product experience. Oops, you muted, my friend. Oh no, still muted. Has to unmute.
Okay. We're there?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I was introduced to Nueva through our previous company, and I was interested in the products, and they launched this Kickstart, which included Nitro and Body. And I've been having some challenges physically, so before that, I've been on nitrous oxide, for about 2 years. And the product that I was, it's funny because the product I was taking, I never noticed anything, kind of like taking a multivitamin, you just don't feel anything. So once I got my Nitro, within 10 minutes, my whole body started changing. My mind started changing, and I was just coming off of a really bad flu where I was coughing like crazy, chills and everything else. And the next day, after taking my first drink of Nitro, I hardly felt anything, like I was sick. And I'm like scratching my head, like, what just happened? Because I was like sick with, the NyQuil and the zinc and all this stuff here. And I was just miserable. And the following day, I felt so much better. And then towards the end of the week, I was just feeling better, but I wasn't sure. So the following week, that next Monday, I was cleared from my cold or whatever, I was saying to myself, now let me see what this stuff does. And I was on the nitro and the body, and I just felt so much clearer in my thinking. I was doing things that I wouldn't normally do or procrastinate on. And then one of the biggest challenges or changes I noticed was tonight. I was being interviewed by this guy, and I was dead tired. I got plumbing issues going on. I got my old mom going on, and I just had no energy. So I said, should I take the nitro and be up all night, but be good for this interview? I said, yeah, what the heck? I'm going to go ahead and do it. And I feel like unbelievable right now. I just hope I'm not staying up till 4 a.m. It was a smooth transition, and I was debating, do I take coffee or do I take the nitro? And this was an opportunity for me to, because usually when I take nitro, it's in the morning, I take my body and I have coffee. Well, this time it was just straight nitro. And as you can see, I'm talking about a minute. But it just solidified again. This product, this one product, is unbelievable. And if you haven't tried it, and if you're on here for the first time, it's something you at least need to try. Once you feel the difference, you'll do like I did, start buying all the other products.
Beautiful, Ryland, thank you. Folks, we could be here all night, and sometimes it seems like I am, because I get a little bit over enthusiastic, and there's so much that we could say about each item, about each product. 1 second, Mike, and I will call upon you. So we talk about a product. Now, I want to shift gears just a tiny bit and talk with those who do what you do not because you love it, but because it's what pays the bills. Or maybe speak to those 45% of people who are looking for a way to generate a new income stream. Understand that in our business, the star of the show is the physical product offering for the reasons that you've heard described. And so we do have two mechanisms wherein one can participate. One can participate by building teams. And in building teams, one earns a leveraged income. How? Because we teach other people how to build what are called customer pods. And so your three possibilities here, I guess there are actually four. One possibility is to simply use the product that the company sells. And my invitation to each of you is to identify one or more and ask whomever invited you here to get an order to you. And you will find out the product will provide for you a value. It'll be obvious to you. It won't be a question. It will be obvious. If you choose to become a conduit to other people's use of the product, never mentioning to anyone the possibility of them being involved in a business, simply tell them about the product. Whatever the product volume is that is created as a result of the efforts that we will do with you, not that you would do alone, that we would do with you. You learn between 15 and 40% on the volume created in that customer pod. Now, we have people in our company that do $50,000 in monthly volume. 40% of that is what? $20,000 in monthly income being created purely as a result of customer movement to people who have a project, they love it, and they're not looking for something else to do. Now, the other possibility is that one can become a business builder. And if one becomes a business builder, then we would encourage you to learn how to build a customer pod. We'll teach you how to do it. And then if you want to, we will teach you how to accept a leadership role in our company where you likewise teach other people how to build customer pods. And you can then earn royalty income on as many customer pods as you choose to help other people create. And there is absolutely no limitation in what can occur. Mike Beck, chime in.
Hey, Randy. Hey, so I know this is a one-off here, but I finally have somebody that I have invited here to this meeting. And
Awesome.
Before we got through and everything, I just wanted to take the opportunity to introduce Teresa Howarth, and possibly maybe Teresa, if you could turn
Teresa.
on your video.
She's
turn
there.
your
Hi,
video.
Teresa.
Yeah, and just tell everybody here your name, and she's a social marketer. She's part of our team now, and so I just
Awesome.
want her to feel she's a little bashful. I want her to feel comfortable in this group.
Well, Teresa, I want you to feel comfortable in this group. Thank you for being here.
Right? He's my little brother, and so I might kill him when I see him. Because he said, I want to introduce you. I said, no, I'm not ready for that. He said, oh, they're just people that want to be friends. You'll be fine. And then here.
Okay,
so I
cool.
just am learning about it, learning about the products and really enjoying it. I'm not a good salesperson, but when Mike said, he started, oh, sorry. My dog just hit my phone.
It's okay.
He was telling me about it, and he started telling me about the products, and I said, oh, wait, this is health products? I researched that for fun. I mean, my friends and I went and worked out with a friend yesterday at the gym, and we spent the whole hour just talking about health and helping each other out. Oh, I've got this thing going on, and hey, what about that? That's just fun to me. So this is kind of fascinating. I'm over here old school with my pen and my paper, taking notes and trying to keep up with it. So I'm just learning about it.
Beautiful. Teresa, welcome. Thank you for being here. And please know that
Hey, Teresa, I'd buy from you. I'd buy from.
There you go. Not just me, Teresa, but we are eager to help you accomplish whatever you want to accomplish here. And by definition, you fall into one of those three categories. You have a project that you love, but you want to look as good as you can and feel as good as you can and be as sharp as you can for as long as you can. That then becomes product.
Yes, and you're talking about loving what you do. And for my adult life, I won't have a job that I don't love what I'm doing. Sometimes it seems like I'm paying them to,
Yes.
I'm not really getting much money out of it. But if I'm not helping people, and listening to them and making a difference in their life, then I just won't have the job. So This would be good.
This is a good fit for you. We'll be a good fit together. I look forward to getting to know you, and thank you very much for being here. And please know this, though Mike doesn't know it, that we do care about the various people in our group. Samantha and I, as my wife, we both mention Mike by name daily. We really love and care for your brother. So I think that's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, it is. Okay. I said that there are 5 elements required for success. A product that matters to people, a company that can execute, timing that's clear, that's obvious, that's beyond refute, and then 4th, a compensation plan. Very simply put, let me make this as simple as I can. Our company right now does about $3 million in monthly sales. That means that because the overall compensation winds up being roughly 50% of cash, that means people in this company are being paid $1,500,000 in commissions every month. This company is only 7 months old, and it already pays $1,500,000 in monthly commissions. How is that happening? It is happening because a well-intended person used a product, had a positive experience, introduced it to another. The person used the product, had a positive experience. They decided to do likewise. They introduced somebody else who did likewise. That's what's happened. $1.5 million per month are being paid in commissions. This company is 7 months old. As a result of the introduction of Dihexa and Testofen just a couple of days ago, I personally think sales are going to soar in the coming weeks and months, and I believe that these numbers are going up a lot. Now, these numbers don't matter to you if you're not yet a part of the mechanism, but I promise you this is not something I think, it is something I know. If you are willing to learn, we are willing to teach, and not just teach, but do with you. And just listening to Teresa a moment ago, I don't even know her, but I already kind of do. If it doesn't feel good, she's not going to do it. If she feels she has to convince someone, she's not going to do it. If she feels she has to chase someone, she's not going to do it. If she feels she has a gift she can offer to someone, then she'll do it. And if she feels that she's taught how to help them not just open the gift, but construct it to their benefit, she'll do that. That's my guess. I don't even know her, but just listening to her for those few moments. So what do we do in the leadership group? We look for people of goodwill and intent who are willing to learn more, because we cannot act upon knowledge we don't have, who are willing to develop new skills. Knowledge is a great thing, but knowledge does not make money. Skill does. But skill unacted upon will not create an outcome. And so that then leads to it's not just what we know, and it's not just what we know how to do. It is our leadership development capacity and potential that results in how much of the constructive things we do on a daily basis. It is who we are. It is our character. It's who we're becoming. Every person who joins us profits immediately. Really? Every person who joins us profits immediately? Yes, that profit may not be measured in a commission check the first month, but they will profit immediately in terms of new knowledge gained, new skills developed, and new character attributes acknowledged as needed and worked to develop and define. The compensation plan is magic. I'm not going to go into further detail with it now. Upon knowing who you are and what you want, each of you having established goals, we can show you with absolute precision what is required to get to those goals. And then finally, it comes to training and support. These are the elements required for success. And here we are participating in what we call the Daily Dose of Randy. And we endeavor every evening, 6 days a week, not 7, but we endeavor to give each person the opportunity to learn, grow, develop, and become. As evidenced here, it is kind of an open mic situation. Anyone who has anything to say, they need only raise their hand and it is said. I prefer to think of it much more as conversations than presentations. I am going to call upon another person that I respect, admire, and I care for a lot. Her name is Susan Guthrie, and I'm going to ask Susan to just chime in here really quickly. And Susan, you invited some good folks here. They're here tonight. You show up night after night. We're happy to have you here. If you can turn on your mic and tell us what's going on, that'd be awesome.
Hey there. I was just actually filling my pill keeper, so I was multitasking, but I heard every word.
Okay, good.
Actually, yeah, everything's going great. I think into my 6th week on the products, I started out with the 7-day with the Snow Slim combination. And what I noticed right away is that my skin, which I've had bad skin for probably most of my adult life. Fun fact, I was thinking about it earlier today. I was on kidney dialysis 25 years ago after a personal trainer nearly killed me. It's called rhabdomyolysis. And that stress on my body, I think, is probably what kind of threw a lot of things into a tailspin. And that's when my skin got bad. And so my skin condition, I had eczema on my hands where they would split and crack and bleed, especially in the wintertime, and if I eat gluten. And I noticed with those 3 products, and I can't pinpoint which one it was, but within 24 hours, the burning, whenever I would put my hands in water, went away. And then within just a very few days, I noticed that the roughness all over my skin, because the rest of my skin, it was almost like I had measles in certain areas. The smoothness just was there. And so I've looked into it more. And of course, the inflammation going down is a big thing. And then also the fact that the products help with wound healing. I had Mohs surgery right in the corner of my eye 4 days after I started the products. And they literally, it was amazing how I didn't bruise, it didn't swell. And I mean, I never even took an Advil because it just didn't hurt. And that's not exactly what the doctor told me would happen. So it's just a series of things. I was putting up all my Christmas stuff between the attic and the basement. And so my shoulders were hurting, my hip was hurting, my knees were hurting from 2 torn meniscus from playing tennis. And I noticed one time I was going up the stairs and all of a sudden I'm carrying boxes and I'm going up the stairs and nothing is hurting. And normally I would have to take one step and then meet the other foot with it. I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about. It's old lady walking. And I was walking normally and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I really, when I started using these products, I mean, I'm a 3-year cancer thriver. And so I already take a lot of stuff for my immune system, for inflammation, tons of antioxidants. And so when I've layered things on, I've taken them because my doctor said to take them and because of the science. I've never had anything feel the way those 3 products made me feel day one. The nitro within, 45 minutes, I was, cleaning the house and doing all kind of other stuff. And today, I started a 30-day program with a group of friends. I did a 7-day kickstart in January with a group. I did a 7-day kickstart in February. And then this month, we're doing a whole 30-day. So I started my 30-day today. The first thing I did is I went to the gym. I joined the gym. I have a gym upstairs, but there's a reason I joined this gym. One of my friends told me that they have like a partnership program where you can get 5 gym memberships and you can have a vendor table there 3 times a month. Plus your advertisement will be a rolling ad to their 500 different stores. So win. But anyway, I started this morning and I went for a Zumba class, and I haven't done Zumba in over 10 years. And so my good friend was teaching, and I said, hey, I might tap out after 30 minutes because, I've got bad knees and I hadn't been here in 30 years. And my daughter and I, we sailed through the class. And then tonight I led a walking group. Monday nights at 6, we go walking to get our steps in, because part of our 30-day challenge, it's accountability, group accountability. And we're measuring 5 things. And people can be in our group and not have to buy a thing. But once they get in the group and they hear everybody talking about everything, they're all buying my products. But we're measuring water, exercise, sleep, food choices, and nutrition. And who doesn't have the best nutrition? We do. So we're creating community. I know some of the people who are in our group are on tonight. And, sometimes I only have one person walking or going to Zumba or whatever with me. Other times I have 5 or 6 when we go line dancing. But it helps me be more accountable, so I'm not going to fall short on my daily goals because I'm answering to somebody else. So I love it. I think everybody needs the products. Everybody needs the community, and everybody needs a tax write-off. So even if you don't need any money, I promise you the tax write-offs from being in this business will be worth your time.
Beautiful. Thank you, Susan. I appreciate it. And finally, in the month just ended, we had some really, really cool accomplishments in our business. Deb Dormer became a senior team leader. I think there are only about a dozen people in the whole company who did that. Senior team leader and a silver on the promoter side. Bev, just take 90 seconds and tell people why the product, why the opportunity, why the community from your perspective.
I always love starting with the community because it is just like Susan. I took some ideas from her and started a walking group here. And Raymond, today I showed somebody that's on oxygen his little testimonial and gave her a pamphlet for Nitro. It is, and Dave, it's just everybody and what they bring to the table. And especially when you have a leader like Randy and Samantha that continue to encourage us to work together, to share our skills, to help each other to where we can all thrive. It makes a difference. The product, mine was digestion, and it has been so fun to now learn about things because I had no idea. It answered things that from when I was young that I always struggled with as far as, not being able to really eat and enjoy it. And as far as, what was your other thing you said?
Business, the compensation plan, the community, the business, the product, the community. You got the product and you got the community.
The business. So I had tried network marketing years and years and years ago, or relationship marketing, and never had any luck with it. My mom had done Amway, and so all of us were completely turned off as her children. And then having my own business for 26 years when COVID hit, and all of the fast food places raised what they were paying their employees so high, I knew I couldn't keep up. And because of that, I went back and started looking at this opportunity, at different opportunities, and was very hurt and saddened by hearing the exact same thing I had heard years and years and years ago, as far as, oh, just write a list of everybody and just reach out to them. Well, then nobody wanted to talk to me anymore. And when I heard Randy's message, what's it been, 3 years now? I thought, whoa, somebody that tells us something different. And the steps that Randy shares with us and his support. And, a lot of them will say they'll support you, whereas Randy will send you texts. He'll answer your calls. He'll send you little videos to help you out with what you need to do. So there is a difference here, and that's the part that's super exciting.
Beautiful. Thank you, Beth. So, folks, most frequently at the conclusion of these sessions, I say this. I say, my time is spent. I thought that's true. Our time has been well invested this evening, in my opinion. Our time has been well invested. And I thank each of you for being here. There are a few of you here who are not a part of our organization yet. I and we invite you. We do. And we want to help you do what you want to do, whatever that is. What I do know is that we'd all like to be a little more happy more of the time. And that becomes easier if we are able to live life in the absence of financial pressure. or even if we are living in financial pressure, if we can see the end in sight, then that makes things more positive. If we don't feel, those of us who are at the midpoint or beyond in life, I remember I did not feel my mortality when I was 35 or 36. I didn't. If there are some of you on here 35 or 36, I hope you'll feel your mortality before I did and start paying attention a little bit sooner than I did. You'll have less damage to repair later on. I think that the product offering is of absolute immeasurable worth. And I think that it is a gift. I think it is a gift. And it's a further gift to be able to share with other people. And finally, go back to the prior thought, the earlier thought. We cannot act upon information we don't have. We can't act upon knowledge we don't have. We cannot utilize skills we've not developed. And we cannot attract people with our character if our character is not attractive. And so what we seek to do is help each person become the highest possible version of himself or herself as they can be. Now this new, more highly developed individual, when combined with a product offering and a business mechanism such as this, will experience remarkable things. So I thank you all for being here. I extend to you my personal invitation to participate, and I offer to you the one thing in my life that is most scarce, that being my time. And any person in our community can tell you that if it is asked for, it is freely given, never with question or qualification. So God bless all of you. Have the best night yet. Look forward to seeing you along the way. Appreciate you all. Bye-bye.